President Trump has been in office for the second term for 100 days.
Trump's been in office for 100 days, and Fox and Friends is throwing him a party. I'm Mediaite founding editor Colby Hall, and the Fox News morning show went all out to praise Trump in a decidedly dear leader style. What else did they do? Well, of course, they attacked his critics.
It's been great to see everybody and get a real response, because I'll tell you, when you find out that 92% of the press coverage from the network television has been negative, you have to wonder. You don't have to wonder why we're getting most of the audience. We might not have noticed because you watch mostly Fox, who spend a lot of time being fair and giving you virtually different points of view.
Fox News does feature the occasional Democratic voice, but their top-rated opinion shows are far from fair arbiters of the current political spectrum. And this was on full view Tuesday morning as Fox and Friends kissed the 100-day-old ring of Trump's by citing a report from conservative media watchdog Media Research Center.
But they did a study, the Media Research Center did, and they asked the ABC, CBS, and NBC. They studied their news coverage, and they said, how much is positive? 92% of the coverage on President Trump is negative. As bad as it was in 2016, the first 100 days, it was actually 89%. It has actually gotten worse compared to 60% for President Biden. It's stunning.
Fox and Friends decided to celebrate Trump's 100 days in office by including a live studio audience, which, of course, Brian Kilmeade was quick to flatter.
So the average person is not engaged as people in this room. Most of the people that you interact with are saying to themselves, wow, this guy must be doing absolutely terrible. Every story, 9 out of every 10 stories that we see on television are saying how bad he's doing.
Negative coverage doesn't mean biased or critical. 3 of the topics that they focused on were tariffs, DOGE, and immigration. The first 2 are wildly unpopular with the American people. So covering negative sentiment about these big 2 things that Trump has done doesn't mean the coverage has been biased.
Yeah, President has the highest ratings on immigration, and those numbers are in the first 100 days, by the way. But the legacy media spin was 93% negative on what Trump is doing with immigration. Out of 233 minutes of evening news coverage, only 3.5 minutes letting viewers know how much Trump has reduced our border crossings.
Now, Trump does deserve some credit for ending border crossings, but the whole ceasing of habeas corpus and ending of due process, that's unconstitutional and wildly unpopular with the American public. And so negative coverage for something that everyone thinks is pretty critical of doesn't mean that it's biased.
It's incredible. He's given them the most access that any president has ever given him. When you look at the numbers for the first 100 days, Trump has given them 71 press interactions. Right. Biden only gave them 21 press interactions. And
look, it's clear that Biden did not enjoy talking to the press, and in the last year or so of his administration was avoiding any media scrutiny when his decline was getting obvious. But praising Trump for eagerly talking to the press, I mean, that's like praising a dog for wanting to sniff another dog's butts. It's in their nature. It's what they do. But this segment seemed designed to spin a disastrous 100 days in office and lift Trump's spirits. So Fox and Friends, they went full dear leader.
Watch this montage of Trump having fun recently.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
I mean, that montage would make Lenny Riefenstahl blush, right?
He's busy.
That's right.
I love when he brings his grandchildren.
I
mean,
do.
it's to see the next generation.
How cute Laura and Eric's little girl,
Yep.
Carolina. Isn't that cute? Her little dress. Nice.
Now, remember, there's a live audience in studio there, and if the goal is to brown-nose Trump, why not go to the people who thought it was a good idea to go to a Fox and Friends show and get their thoughts on what they think Trump's all about so far.
I think the president in general is at his best when he's with the American people, talking with them. All right, let's talk to some of the audience right here. Oh, Texas Tuesday. You know the assignment. What's your name?
Nancy.
Nancy. Okay, so it's the first 100 days. What grade would you give Donald Trump and why?
Well, I'm curious what this American flag-wearing Fox News fan thinks.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 20.
20. And why 20?
I feel safer. I feel more confident.
Surely there's more nuanced commentary.
Well, first of all, he's done more in the first 100 days than I've done in my 38-year career. So he's great to watch. But
Great to watch. High praise for a wannabe media figure, also president.
I think the President Trump has earned our trust more, and I would like to see him continue his policies on the border and as far as crime and the economy, to continue his great policies, which makes me feel safer, makes me feel more more optimistic about America and the world in general.
I'm going to let that guy have his moment in the sun. Any comment would feel mean. Anyway, let's get one more.
What would you give him, an A, B, C, or D?
A+.
A+. I like the way you think.
A+. Didn't see that coming. Now, why was the Fox and Friends going all out to sort of try to lift Trump's spirits? Well, one clue might be this Truth Social post from Fox News' #1 fan, in which he praised an earlier segment on Fox and Friends First. But there's another reason why Trump might need some serious mood lifting.
This is President Trump's job approval rating on taxes. 38% approve, 53% disapprove. This is Fox News polling. 38% on the economy approve, 56% disapprove, 33% on inflation. We know this was huge in the election, 59% disapprove.
The polls look terrible for Trump. That's a Fox News poll that looks really bad for President Trump. And then there was this segment from longtime GOP strategist Karl Rove from the weekend.
Paul, when it gets to the economy, he is in very bad shape. And it's not only that he's in the short term in bad shape, there's also evidence in the poll that no matter, even if he gets his way on certain things like tariffs, that he's not good in the long run. Take a look at this. Trump policies. Today, will it help the economy? 32% say yes. Will it hurt the economy? His policies, 54% say no. 10% no difference. In the long run, will it help the country? 40%. In the long run, will it hurt the country? 51%. So there's some very deep-seated skepticism among ordinary Americans about the effect of the economy, the president's economic policies, both in the short run and the long run.
And a tanking of the economy you could add into that. That's Karl Rove. The Wall Street Journal editorial board this morning argues, quote, at 100 days, Trump 2.0 is in trouble. The new piece on the op-ed page reads this way: presidential second terms are rarely successful, and on the evidence of his first 100 days, Donald Trump's won't be different. The White House motto seems to be that if something is worth doing, it's worth doing too much. That's especially true on tariffs, which could sink his presidency. Ken Griffin, the investor and major donor to Mr. Trump, summed it up last week as a self-inflicted blow to the American brand. The U.S. is needlessly ceding global economic leadership. Voters re-elected Mr. Trump in part because they remembered fondly his first-term economy. But that success was owed mainly to his pursuit of conventional GOP priorities like tax reform and deregulation. This term, he is indulging his trade and foreign policy obsessions, and the early results are negative. He will fail unless he heeds the warnings. That is from the Wall Street Journal. President.
That was Morning Joe's Willie Geist reporting on a damning editorial from the conservative Wall Street Journal about just how disastrous Trump's 100 days has been economically. Look, Trump's gotten a lot done since he took the oath of office in January, but judging by the worst polling numbers that we've ever seen for the first 100 days for a president in office, it's not going well. Fox and Friends is blaming the media for biased coverage during a full-blown segment designed solely to praise and lift the mood of the commander-in-chief is beyond laughable. It's absurd. Now, given the fact that Fox News dominates cable news ratings by a 2-to-1 ratio over its competitors combined, the media is putting its thumb on the scale of political opinion, but not in the way that Fox and Friends or MRC would want you to believe. There's no question that the first 100 days under Trump has been an abject disaster. And given his stubbornness and unwillingness to admit any defeat or any wrongdoing, I worry it's going to get way worse before it gets any better. Thanks for watching the video. Please click the like and subscribe button. I'm Mediaite founding editor Colby Hall. Thank you for watching.